do it live. We'll do it live. 8:19 on the Big 550 KTRS. Let's talk a little Pat Blassie. Now, for those of you who didn't make it to work yesterday, including Jason Lamar, we need to school you in the ways of taking unplanned days off. Okay?
Okay.
I've learned a couple of things in my years.
Oh, okay. You have.
And I've learned that since I'm not married, Victoria Babu, you can chime in on this as well. Let me ask you this question, Victoria. And Jason, I want a number from both of you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You are asked to do something you don't want to do. What percentage of the time do you say no? And the reason you say no is because your spouse is asking you to do something, or you have to do something for your spouse, or you can't because your spouse is sick. What percentage of the time do you use your spouse as an excuse not to do something?
You mean at work?
That's a good question.
Work,
going out, anything.
Right,
Okay.
whatever.
They're the fall person kind of a thing.
Right, exactly. Oh, I would love to work, but my husband is sick.
Gotcha.
My
okay.
husband is this. My
I
wife is that. What percentage?
I will say the percentage was a lot higher, but once you have a kid, that is the trump card of all trump. Oh,
Okay, kids also work.
We'd love to, but
Okay.
he's not feeling well
right.
tonight.
Even friends, like, hey, let's go see a movie Saturday night. You're like, I'd love to, but my kid is sick. So what percentage of your do you use that as an excuse not to do something, your kid or your husband?
I would say it's over 50%.
Yeah.
Really, Victoria?
Yeah, it's for the husband.
What other excuse do you use?
Well, there is none.
Well, okay, here's
That's
what
why it's 50-50. You're like, oh, maybe I'll say this, but it's always safe to go the other round.
Yeah.
And it changes as you get older. So here he is, a newlywed with a little one. Mine are grown, and now I'm taking care of taking care of the parents. So what happened is it changes. Became the husband was less and less of an excuse,
Right.
as it was the kids. But then it becomes the elderly parent. What it became the last few years.
Okay.
Before
So
he
you
passed
just got to
was my
transition
father-in-law.
because
now what? Okay, so what percentage of the time was it actually your elderly parent or your child or your husband?
probably then half of that percentage.
Half of that. Okay,
probably.
all right. So
Probably.
you've only used it 25% of the time.
Yeah, it became.
Sure.
I think
it
you're
was-
both
it
lying.
was
I think you
higher
use
for
it
me.
infinitely more.
For my father-in-law, because a lot of it
Probably.
was true. It was a lot near the end.
Now,
but yeah.
yeah, okay. Now, I will tell you that as a single man, I don't have that excuse. I can't be like, oh, my spouse.
So you're jealous.
Well, no, you have to come up with different excuses.
So how creative have you been?
Well, this all comes back to Jason.
So you're saying that I was making it up yesterday?
I didn't say that. You
That's
just
what you're
said it.
insinuating here.
I'm not insinuating anything.
You've been saying that for 2 days.
Oh my God! You
I am
honestly
not
think
actually, you're right. I am not insinuating. I'm flat out calling you out on it. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
He's thinking
You think
he rolled
I'm
over
lying.
and said, "Honey, we're taking a snow day."
Because so you can't because
unbelievable.
look because you can't use.
There's over a foot of snow. Like it's a coincidence I use that day of all days.
You can only use it on snow days, right? Like in the middle of July, you can't say, well, I couldn't get out of my driveway.
I was pumped. Hey, we just had 4 straight days of basketball. It was a good day to come in.
You also can't use, I was sick, right? Because you're usually the day before you call in sick, you're feeling bad.
Right.
And the day you come back, you're not 100%. So they can get a sense that if you're lying, right?
Sure.
But there is
Which you clearly think I am.
There is
He's given a lot of thought to this.
Yeah.
There
he
is
has.
a guaranteed excuse in which nobody will ever question you, and you can get away with it. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
God, I hope it's not sexual.
Whoa.
What?
Well, I don't know. You could say some crazy things.
All right.
What, how could it be sexual?
I don't
what an
know.
excuse. I'm stuck in the bedroom. Sorry, can't get to work
What
right
have
now.
you missed work for based on for any sexual reason?
All I know is
it's more-
Victoria,
it's
man.
more
What is
interesting.
going on in the Victoria household?
Oh, boy.
Holy mackerel.
Well, it's a lot more interesting.
I'd
than what
love to
you're-
go to the movies with you, but my husband really needs it. I mean, what kind as forthcoming in my wifely duties as I should be. So
isn't this a much more interesting conversation now?
Okay.
Come on.
All right. So
I'm here for you.
So, well, not for your husband, clearly.
Oh, why did I say that? Go on. Let's hear it.
So now this is such good advice. I'm gonna tell you this, and you're gonna be like, yeah, that's really good advice. So the advice to use, like on a Thursday, or let's say a Friday in July, right? It's a beautiful day. You don't want to work Friday, so you want to take Friday off, but you can't be like, well, you can't say I have some sexual problem. You can't say I ran out of Viagra. You have to come up with something, right? Snow doesn't work. So you say food poisoning.
Huh. How many
Food
times
poisoning is the catch-all. Because if you don't want to go out with your girlfriends on a Saturday night, what do you say? I got food poisoning. You don't want to go to work on a Friday? Oh, I got food poisoning. Because on Thursday you were fine. You went to dinner Thursday night, some bad shellfish or something, right? All of a sudden you get food poisoning. You can't go to work Friday, but on Monday you're feeling fine again.
So,
hey, Jason,
until now,
Jason,
I can't say
come to think
now.
of it, he's had food poisoning quite a
Yeah,
bit since
exactly.
I've known
Actually, no,
McGraw.
I had gallbladder problems.
Well, that you did have that.
And
That
I
was
actually
legit.
pulled out a gallbladder so I could prove it.
You brought it in the jar. It was disgusting.
So I'm telling you, food poisoning is such a great excuse because no one's going to question you because you can be like, oh, man, I spent the whole morning on the toilet. Oh, no, I've been there. Oh, food poisoning's terrible.
Well, in future reference, I'll just lie instead of tell the truth. I guess
absolutely.
I guess that's the way to go.
Yeah. I had a listen to this. This is a funny story. I had a coworker who wanted to get out of working New Year's Day. And it was a radio station, and they're like, "No, you are not. You have to work New Year's Day." And he begged and begged and begged.
He wanted to go out the night before and have a good time.
He was, believe it or not, we were up in Omaha, and he's a stand-up comic, Tom Becca, and he was working a radio host and a stand-up comic, and he was working New Year's Eve in like Sioux City, which is 3 hours away from Omaha. So he didn't want to drive back New Year's night, to work New Year's Day. So he was trying to get out of it, and he couldn't get out of it, and couldn't get out of it. So he has to work. So he does his thing, and it's a wintry night, and he's driving back on Interstate, 29, I guess, and he hits a patch of ice, and he rolls his car. Rolls over his car. Luckily, he's fine. He's wearing a seatbelt, but his car's flipped over. The ambulance comes. The police take him to the station. He calls work at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, I flipped my car. I can't get to work. And they're all like, he's lying. He's lying. This is an excuse.
See, that's crying wolf.
Your car would be destroyed.
Right. So how do you can't lie about wrecking your car. But if you would have called up and said, oh, I've got food poisoning, then you're lying, right? So he had to get rid of his car so he didn't have to work on New Year's Day.
That was a long way to go to enjoy that New Year's.
Yeah, no.
He wasn't telling the truth?
No, he was. He did flip his car. Yeah. Well, so let's put it this way. He's never admitted to me that it was a scam. So we have to assume that it was a legitimate. But, I mean, people go to the ends of the earth to get out of work, including claiming they can't get out of their own driveway. But you should have used food poisoning. Food poisoning is a catch-all because you could have shown up today and be like, oh, see, I'm fine. Oh, that food poisoning
the day after
terrible.
New Year's, no excuse works. You're hungover.
Right,
unless you
exactly.
flip your car.
Unless you flip unless your car's destroyed.
Right.
Which that's a long way to go.
That's a long way to go. All right. Fair enough. So you're better. The food poisoning's better then?
Yes, much better.
All right, good. All right. And
my head hurts now.
Victoria can't work tomorrow because her husband's in town, I guess.
I missed him.
Yeah. Oh, clearly. All righty. 8:29 here on the Big 550 KTR.